3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Hello. Let's see if we got that. Hi, I'm Dan Smegrod. I'm the founder of the Weekend Around Network Forum and just getting set up, so thanks for your patience. Program starts at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, just about 14 minutes from now. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to just simply fast forward, if you're watching it recorded on YouTube and you want to fast forward, simply go about 14 minutes ahead. Just takes me a moment. This is our Tech Scout, our tech setup time, and so you kind of get the behind the scenes of us just getting ready for our program. So please bear with me. Just takes me a little bit of steps to do, easier for me to kind of concentrate and not talk and walk at the same time. So let me just stop talking for a moment. One day I'll get a sound engineer, tech engineer, hair, makeup, set design, but in the meantime, you do what you do. Okay, let's just double check. Come over here. Hi, I'm Dan Smegrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. You're watching WGAN-TV. Coming up at 5 o'clock, WGAN-TV live at 5. Our guest today is WP3D Models WordPress plugin developer founder Ross Peterson. That's going to start at the top of the hour, just about 12 minutes from now. So thanks for tuning in. If you're a little bit early, that's great. Excited to have Ross back on the program a second time now. He helped premiere WP3D Models WordPress plugin version 3.0 on WGAN-TV live at 5. We've asked him to come back and do a demo today for newbies. So if you've heard of WP3D Models WordPress plugin, and you're thinking about using it, but you have a little bit of angst about how hard or easy is it to use, then today's program is for you. It's for newbies, and so Ross is going to start with a computer that has WordPress installed, but from there he's going to install WP3D Models WordPress plugin, and then he's going to assume that I have no knowledge of WP3D Models and give me a demo so I understand how to get started. I've actually been using it now for, I think about 2.5 years, and it is an essential tool for Matterport service providers. And as you'll see, it's quickly going to become a tool for any 3D photographer, videographer. I don't know if Ross calls it the hero image, but the featured element of WP3D Models doesn't necessarily have to be a Matterport space. And that's why if you're working with a 360 photo or 360 video or photography, images or video, or even some other platforms, as we'll see, anything that can be embedded with an iframe, that you can have an amazing solution. So anyway, that's coming up today in about 10 minutes on WGAN-TV live at 5. I did want to talk a little bit about the program yesterday, Monday, September 18th, 2017. Matterport had sent out a survey, a kind of a satisfaction survey, feature survey. It was called the Matterport Satisfaction and New Feature Survey. And I thought I'd fill it out on the program yesterday, which I did. I know it's only supposed to take 15 or 20 minutes, but it turned out I took 4 hours and 15 minutes to fill it out because I was giving commentary on every answer that I was filling out. So it's a long program, but I know it's a very popular program. We've had a lot of people viewing it already, and so I just wanted to call your attention to it. If you look in the forum, if you look for Matterport Satisfaction /feature survey -index, and if you type that all in the search box within the We Get Around Network forum, it'll pop up. It's an index. So what I did is did a an index of each of the topics. So there was the overall thoughts, Matterport Spaces, Matterport Workshop, Matterport Cloud, Matterport VR, and so forth. And so I've given you an index back to the slides that accompanying the video. So if you're really into it and you want to see what it is that I had to say about each of the topics, there's 11 different topics. It might be helpful to have the companion to look at the actual slides in the forum while you're listening or watching the video. And the video is embedded already in the forum. So that's, I guess what I would say is if you're thinking about buying a Matterport camera, hearing what I have to say on each of the items may be relevant, either because you're a newbie to this whole world, or if you're a professional photographer, you might care what I actually have to say as I fill out the survey. So I actually did completed the survey for 3 audiences. One is for somebody that's thinking about buying a camera. 2, somebody is thinking about buying a Matterport Pro camera. 2 is any member of the forum that has a Matterport camera and is curious about what I had to say, whether you've already filled it out or whether you're still going to fill it out in time for the Friday, February 22nd, 2017 deadline at midnight Pacific time. And third, for Matterport product managers that are working on various things such as Matterport Spaces or Matterport Workshop or Matterport Cloud or Matterport Virtual Reality, that I thought there may only be a handful of people that really, care to watch, 4 hours and 15 minutes. Certainly it's not my wife. She watched about 2 minutes and sent me a text and say, take a breath. But for those product managers that want more insight beyond just checking the box of whether very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, unsatisfied, very unsatisfied, or not applicable, that I give my commentary on every answer in the survey. And so I just thought that might be helpful. I've been using Matterport. I bought the camera in July of 2014. I think that's now over 3 years worth of experience shooting. Excuse me. So I thought, for the 4 or 5 people at Matterport that might care, they can do a deep dive. And so that's why it actually has taken a long time. I had no idea it was going to take me 4 hours and 15 minutes to fill out the survey with commentary, but I'm obviously a very opinionated person and I got things to say and I wanted to share that. And, I know in this world of video today, you're supposed to do your videos in less than 90 seconds for anyone to pay attention. But I actually believe that if somebody is really interested in a topic, then it can be super long, because for that audience, they can't get enough. And so you might, just sample it for 10 minutes, find it interesting. Okay. You might fast forward to the section that's of interest to you. But I am particularly, part of the reason that I posted each discussion, each topic is a separate discussion, such as Matterport Workshop, is I'd like to know what you think. So if you have some comments that you would like to make about that section of the survey or about what I had to say, there are so many new and exciting things that Matterport is asking about and considering adding, things that I've been saying, oh my gosh, for 3 years now we've been asking, and then ding ding ding, all of a sudden I see it in the survey that they're asking the question, is that important to you? So I hope you will weigh in the We Get Around Network forum and add your comments, commentary, etc. And if it's easier for you to do it as a video, record a video and then post it to the forum, that's great too. So coming up in just about 5 minutes, we'll have WP3D Models developer Ross Peterson join us. Ross, I see that you've joined the room, and so I'm going to actually, let's see, add you. So let's see, just take me a second. Ross, if I'm doing this right, looks a little bit different today. Yep. So great. So I see you, Ross. And let's get you. Oh, I just lost you. So hey, Ross, if you're tuning in, I apologize. I see you join, and I just missed adding you to the discussion. There we go. Good. Hey, Ross, can you hear me okay?
I can, yeah. Can you see me?
You're talking and I can't hear you. So let me check my audio. And can you hear me now?
I can hear you,
Let
yeah.
me try one other thing, Ross. I know I got some feedbacks, so I'm going to have to turn off a setting here. Okay, good. So I'm just turning off some of my, so I don't create a feedback loop. We're going to start just in about 3 minutes.
Sounds good.
So we are actually live on the We Get Around Network forum. And I just want to get started at 5 o'clock. How you doing, Ross?
Yeah, real good. Thanks. How are you?
I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm all wound up. I'm so excited to be visiting with you once again. So
Oh, thanks.
thank you for your patience. And I know can you get everything done in an hour that you want to do?
Oh yeah, because I don't think we're just going to do the install, and we're going to talk about we're not going to start with installing WordPress or any of that. We're going to assume that that's already done. So yeah, we shouldn't have any trouble.
Okay. And I'll try not to comment too much. So I got a good picture of you today, so I'm excited. For those that are just tuning in, coming up in about 2 minutes, we're our guest today, WP3D Models WordPress plugin developer Ross Peterson, founder developer Ross Peterson. He's going to be giving us a demo for newbies, so he's going to assume I have no knowledge of WP3D Models, of how it works, and he's going to take us through installation of WP3D Models, and then give us a demo. So I'm excited about that. And I can hear my phone doing something, so let me turn that off. So this is like low budget television. You know, we got in our sound studio today. So just waiting for the top of the hour to come up.
No problem.
Um, so again, regarding yesterday's program, Matterport satisfaction and new feature survey, check it out in the forum. It's recorded. Coming up this Friday, Friday, September 22nd, we'll try something new, a happy hour, chat with members. There won't be any agenda. So if you just want to, ask questions of members or answer questions or just chat, I guess consider it a virtual beer or something. So just join in on Friday. Now to do that, it's totally free, but you do need to register. So if you're looking at the homepage of the forum, over here to the right, where it says right under Join Virtual Studio Audience is a button that says Need Help. Just click on that, and that'll explain how to register. So it's totally free to participate, to join the video discussion. Just simply register ahead of time. So happy hour on Friday, Friday 22nd of September, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. That's GMT minus 4 hours. Might be fun to do that. So Ross, you good?
I think so. Yeah.
I'll give you a countdown here because we're going to do a little introduction, and stand by. 4, 3. Hi, I'm Dan Smigrod. I'm the founder of the We Get Around Network forum. Today is Tuesday, September 19th, 2017, and we're live at 5 on WGAN-TV with our guest, WP3D Models WordPress plugin founder and developer Ross Peterson.
Hi, Dan. Yeah.
Hey, Ross, good to see you again.
Thanks, you too.
Always good to see you. So you're going to do a demo today for newbies. You're going to assume WordPress is installed, and you're going to install WP3D models and then give me a demo, assuming that I don't know anything about WP3D models.
Yeah, yep, that's right. We'll go ahead and get it installed. Yeah. All right, let's see. I'm going to need the...
So the screen share at the bottom.
Got it. I'm just going to grab the, all right. So you should have that now.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And then, all righty. Okay, so yeah, we'll just jump right into it here. So this is what you might see if you had installed WordPress and you haven't done anything else. I'm just going to give the quick, this is, it's a little tricky because WordPress itself is something that might need a little, it takes I wouldn't say it takes a little getting used to, but when you're someone who's maybe just bought a Matterport camera and you're getting started with your website and you're learning all sorts of new things all at once, this is one of those things that you just got to take a deep breath and jump in and you'll figure it out. But we aren't going to be able to go into all the details of WordPress today anyway. We're talking about just installing WP3D. But this is what you would see when you've got WordPress installed with basically completely vanilla. So this is the dashboard. And along the left-hand side here is sort of the navigation for the administration area of WordPress. These are the default settings that would come with it. So WordPress ships with something called posts and pages. Again, we can't get super deep into this, but we're going to use pages with WP3D because we're going to make a gallery page when we have some models installed. But the first thing we've got to do is, of course, get WP3D inside this installation. So WP3D is a plugin, and maybe we should pause real quick. This is WordPress.org. In some cases, people get confused with there's kind of two flavors of WordPress. There's a WordPress.com. Maybe we'll just go there right now. WordPress.com is, oh, I'm logged in, so that's not going to work. I'll have to do it in a incognito window. So WordPress.com is a commercial version of the same software. You can create a WordPress.com site for free. But it is not the same as WordPress.org. WordPress.com doesn't allow for the installation of third-party plugins like WP3D models. That is, up until recently, they did add a new version here. So here's the free WordPress.com. There's personal. This doesn't allow for third-party plugins. There's premium, also does not allow for third-party plugins. But if you scroll down, this here, this business version does now allow for installing third-party plugins. So we've talked in the past about how WordPress.com is not compatible with WP3D. It now is, but you do have to get on this business plan. So if you were to do that and sign up for the business plan, you would see a dashboard that's somewhat similar to, sorry, there we go. It would be somewhat similar to this. They have a little bit more that comes pre-installed, but so let's just assume that you're either running WordPress.org or this, this premium version of WordPress.com. Okay, so installing a plugin. We do have some documentation on our website here on installing WP3D models. We've got a video that covers it as well, but we're going to go ahead and just do this right now. Almost the same as what's in that video. So you can refer back to that too. Okay, so it's just as simple as saying I want to add a new plugin. WordPress by default is kind of promoting a few different kinds of plugins here. We're going to blow right past it and go to this button, Upload Plugin. Now I've got WP3D here in my downloads. And when you've purchased WP3D, you're going to get this zip file. This would be something you would download off of, you would be presented with a link. You would download this file, and it's as simple as selecting it and saying install now. Now, we'll wait a second. All right, so it's installed, but we have to activate. Just clicking that button. Now, this is pretty important, and we found that a few customers miss this step. Up here, this alert is saying, you've installed WP3D, but we need a little bit more. And we lean on a few different other add-on plugins. They're all either bundled with WP3D or they're free. So we just need to click this Begin Installing Plugins. So we're going to go ahead. We need all these. We're going to select all of them. Bulk actions, install, and apply. So they're all installed and activated now. And you'll see over here on the left, we now have models. So back to what I was saying earlier, WordPress ships with posts and pages as the two types of content that essentially you can add to a WordPress-based site. Now we've added models. So let's check it out. We're going to go to all models. As you'd expect, there aren't any yet. We're going to go ahead and double check a couple settings though before we go and add any models. One of those settings is permalinks. Now I kind of blew past that. Under WordPress settings, there's something called permalinks. Some default installations of WordPress will come with plain installed. This isn't going to work, and it really isn't any good for much of anything, in my opinion, because you can see here this leaves a pretty ugly URL. The rest of this permalink provides almost all the other permalink settings. They provide a much prettier URL where the actual name of the title of the page is part of the URL, a great benefit for SEO. So in this case, we had post name selected, which was great. So it's already what it is, but I'm just going to save it anyway. This issue happens once in a while where somebody doesn't change it from plain, and in that case, they some of the features of WP3D don't work, which are our views. We use permalinks to change our views between the standard view, the full screen view, the skinned view, no brand view, etc. So that's a big one. All right, let's go ahead and add. We're going to add one model here, and then we'll jump into some of the global settings for WP3D. So it's as simple as this. This button here, add new model, or this link on the side, they do the same thing. So this is the add new model screen. Now there's a lot we can go through, and probably more than we could, definitely more than we can today. But we're going to start with adding a Matterport model. So model base, this is something we added in the 3.0 version of WP3D. There's several different choices now for what you want to start with as far as building a model around. In this case, of course, we're going to use Matterport. So this is the title of your model. This is what you might choose to, oh, I'm just copying some text from somewhere else. This oftentimes is, a lot of people put the property address there. In some cases, it could be a little bit more marketing, but typically property address is a great title. In this case, we're gonna borrow from one of the demos that's on the Matterport site, and we're gonna say Southern California luxury home. In the Matterport URL, that's gonna be just the URL that you would pull from your Matterport dashboard. So in your my.matterport. So here's this same one. This is the demo from Matterport. It's worth noting here that this is not the embed. Sometimes people paste the whole embed code in here, like the whole iframe, or you might be tempted to put the whole URL with maybe some parameters. It's not going to help in the case of WP3D, because all we want and all we need is just the simplest of Matterport URLs. So model subtitle, this is, well, let's pause there. That's all you have to do. That's it for required fields. You can now save it. So we can come back and add some of this stuff. So we're just going to go here and publish. Now, What's happening at this moment is WP3D is going to that particular model, and it is retrieving the publicly accessible data about that model. So that includes if I'm going to scroll down here, it includes the thumbnail image that is stored from Matterport, as well as some address information and other potentially contact information if it's been entered. So that's it for saving, your first model. But you'll notice up here, we now have a new menu, WP3D Models Tools. This menu is sort of your hub for how you get to all of the views that are dynamically generated. Branded views, unbranded views, as well as embed codes. And then there's a shortcode, a single shortcode for this particular model if you wanted to paste it into another place in your WordPress site, probably the subject for another episode. And then there's a couple more things, getting the zip from Matterport where you can download all of the images that are associated all at once. And then we put this Facebook debugger in mostly because sometimes if a model has been shared, some information has been changed about it, we need to notify Facebook that some of the information has been changed, and then that debugger helps clear out Facebook's cache. Anyway, recapping here, all we entered was a title and the Matterport URL, and then we're going to the tools, branded views, and we're going to look at the skinned view to start with. So this opened in a new window, and here's the Southern California luxury home in the skinned view of WP3D. And this is just all very stock. Nothing has been added for branding. And then clicking the play button loads that particular Matterport tour. Dan, did you have a question? Did I cut you off there? Okay. So there you go. There's the skinned view. We're gonna close this down and go back. So now that we have a model in here, I think it would make sense to kill my phone ringing here. Excuse me. Just have to get that to stop.
Maybe you could sit on it or something.
I have to get to the screen where I could stop it. There we go.
Okay.
Apologize. Okay, so basically what we've got is one model now, and we're going to look at the global settings for WP3D. You can get to those here, settings. So we don't have the license on this particular instance since we're just demoing it, but when you've purchased WP3D, you'll enter your license here. That enables updates to WP3D. It also enables you to contact support. Single page slug, this is a good one. So I'm just going to run through some of these global settings if that's all right. I think it's important that some of these get covered because sometimes I'm afraid perhaps they get missed. And these are, we thought long and hard about a lot of the pieces in here so that you could set, again, global settings for what you think you're going to be doing most of the time for your models. Most of these settings are overridable on a per model basis, but things that we felt like were important to be added globally, we did here. The biggest one maybe on this screen would be this single page, well, not the biggest one, but the single page slug is a big deal. So if you don't want, so again, back to, I'm going to go close that tab, so I'll leave it open here. So I'm going back to this model that we entered so that I can get to the skinned view. All right, so if we're looking at this screen here, this is the single page slug, what I've highlighted, 3D model. If you don't like that, you can change it, and you do so here. So let's just call it tour. Now, you'll see this pop up, and this one gets missed every once in a while as well. So By changing the slug, we need to understand that it's affecting all of the model URLs that have been entered. So this is something you probably would want to do upon early installation of WP3D. This allows you that customization, but if you were to do it later, after you've already shared some of your model links that maybe had the 3D dash model in it, they would be now broken links. So you'd have to create redirects, or you'd have to do something to patch up that change. So this is a good thing to think about early on. So, okay, I understand by changing this, I need to go to my settings, permalinks page again, and this helps clear out some of the caching inside WordPress. So, okay, great. I'm going to save this setting, and then I'm going to do as instructed. I'm going to go to my settings and permalinks. All you have to do is visit this page. Just by clicking on it, it clears out the permalink. So here we are. I haven't changed this, right? But now, if I visit it, it should give me a broken link. And now this page is no longer accessible because I changed it. But now it's here at tour. And there we are. So that allows you to change that if you just want to customize it. Okay, back to our settings. Okay, we talked briefly, or we've mentioned anyway, the WP3D Models Tools menu. I need to close this window so I don't keep going back to it. All right, so this menu up here, really important menu, something you'll be referencing a lot when using WP3D. One thing we found recently, though, it also relates back to the WordPress.com hosting. WordPress.com hosting users have what's called they have a special name for it, and it's eludes me at the moment, but basically this admin bar, I think they call it the master bar, is completely changed under WordPress.com hosting, which meant that you couldn't get to this menu, and without this menu, you're really stuck within WP3D. So we built a new setting. It allows you to move that menu to the side. And so let's do that. I'm going to switch it to the side. And now when I refresh this edit screen, it's no longer up here, but this menu is over here on the side now. So the default is still going to be up in the admin bar, but now you can get to all the same settings here, and it makes it possible to use that WordPress.com hosting. Okay, so the default view. This is probably a good time to talk about what we're going to do with the WordPress shortcode that lets you create a gallery. So basically, by default, whenever we are creating a list of models, we're going to link to the standard view, and we'll go over some of these views, if not in this episode, in another. But by default, we're linking to the standard view. But you can choose to always link to the skinned view if you want, which is the single property page view. So let's go ahead and switch that so that any new model we add dynamically links to the skinned view. I'm going to save this here. I'm going to use this as my chance to go talk about that shortcode just a little bit. So let's leave our settings where we are, and let's go over here to pages. I'm going to open this in a new window. So again, lots to digest with WordPress here. Just bear with me, or bear with us, and you know, if you invest in using WordPress, you'll figure this stuff out. It becomes second nature, but there's a lot that happens if this is the first time you're seeing it. So here's a new tab. We're making a new page. Let's call it our gallery page. So by default, WordPress just gives you this one WYSIWYG box to fill out the content for a page. There's a lot of different tools, a lot of different plugins that convert this behavior to allow you to do more dragging and dropping. A lot of the same tools that you might be used to seeing if you've used Squarespace or Wix or something. A lot of those tools are finding their way to WordPress, but in this case, we have a vanilla installation. We've got just this WYSIWYG here. WordPress allows the customization of how things are displayed by using shortcodes. It's a WordPress-specific thing. Within WP3D, we've created our own shortcode. And since I know it, I guess, by heart. I'm just going to type up what I type it in, but this is all in our documentation. So now we have our own parameters. All of this is well documented. I'm just going to type it in since I know it. We're going to say map equals true, filter equals true. We'll go over what these things mean. But just by entering this, this is going to generate our gallery. So I'm going to publish this page.
And we only need to do this once ever to set up.
Once ever. That's exactly right. Thank you. Yeah. So it's created this page, and let's go take a quick look and see what it does. Okay, so this doesn't look that great, but it's working. So we've got a map. The particular model that we entered doesn't have any mapping data associated with it from Matterport, so we'll need to add that. We'll also need to consider what we want to do to make this look better, right? With the vanilla install of WordPress, we're using a theme that ships with it by default, the 2017 theme. Personally, not one of my favorites. So we're going to take yet another side trip here and go and install a free WordPress theme that I think works a little bit better. So we'll circle all of this back. Under the appearance menu here, you can change your WordPress theme. So again, we're using 2017. This particular installation of WordPress also shipped with 2015 and 2016. These are themes. They're not necessarily, in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and delete them just so that we keep things tidy. They're unnecessary. You really only need to have, it's nice to keep one of the stock WordPress themes sort of in your themes library, so in case you ever need to switch back to it for one reason or another. But let's go ahead and add a new theme. Now, this is the beauty of WordPress. There are literally thousands and thousands of themes available for almost anything that you can imagine, many of which are free, many of which are paid. I've found one that I think works pretty well. It's really clean. It's called OnePress. Again, there's hundreds of them. There's probably, whoops, I have to, let's see, did it not work? There it is. Okay, so this likes to auto search for you, so I always forget that. So OnePress, here it is. When it's a free theme and it's stored in the WordPress directory, all you have to do is search for it. When you find it, you can click install. So it's putting that theme into the theme library here. If I click on themes again, you'll see that there are now two. 2017 that's active, and then there's this OnePress, which is not yet active. I'm going to go ahead and activate it. Activating a theme changes some of what your options are over on the left now. But let's just go right back to that gallery page. So again, I've changed the theme, but changed nothing else about this page. I'm going to refresh it, and it's already looking a little bit better. So with that theme installed, I'm going to go back to the gallery page that we created with the WordPress, with WP3D's shortcode. The sample page we can trash. It came installed. All right, so we're going to edit the gallery page. Now, this particular theme has additional templates, and this is the reason, one of the reasons I like it. They have a full width template. So I'm going to choose that and update it. And now I'm going to go back to this gallery page again, and this is much better. Now we've got a big map, and we're able to see this thumbnail, see the size of this thumbnail much more. So let's get this thumbnail on the map. That means we got to go back to the model, and we're already there. So we're bouncing around a little bit, but this is often, I'm kind of going to the good stuff first so you can see how quickly you could potentially have something working on your website, and then you can come back and go through all the various options at your leisure. So we're going to click on the map tab here. By default, it says, look for the address information already saved with your Matterport showcase. It's doing that, but there isn't any map or any address information stored with this particular showcase. So we're going to set custom address information. Now, here I'm going to search for, let's just put it in San Diego. Since we don't have a real address, I'm just going to put it in the middle of San Diego. I'm going to go ahead and update that. Before we go back to the map page, though, let's add another model so that we have at least more than one to see. So I'm going to go back here, add new model. I've got another one stored. Let's do a 1-bedroom condo. And here is the Matterport URL. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and publish this. And while we're at it, let's do yet another one. So we have at least 3 here. This one is a vacation rental. And again, the Matterport URL. So if you recall from before, these are going to Matterport. They're gathering up information, including their image, and bringing it back and storing it within your site. Okay, let's go back to the gallery page and refresh it. Okay, so a little bit changed view now. One of these is on the map, the Southern California luxury home, because we put it right in the middle of San Diego. And it's very zoomed in because it's the only one on the map. We need to put some of these others in on the map in order for them to be automatically added as well. So let's go back and do that. St. Lucia. I actually don't really know exactly where that would be. Do you know, Matt, Dan? Any idea where St. Lucia is? Pretty close, huh? All right. We'll update that. And then let's go to the 1-bedroom condo and let's put it on the map too. Since none of these had mapping data stored with them, they were Matterport demos. For most people, I think you'll be putting your address information in because likely you want it to be syndicated, whole other topic. But you want that syndication opportunity within the new things that Matterport is adding. So chances are good you wouldn't have to go through this step, but if your particular showcase or model doesn't have address information, you would want to do this. Let's just put this one right in the middle of San Francisco. Okay, so now if we go back to the gallery, now they're all on the map. So you can click on the map to see which one is which, and you can go to the single page for these. Now, this is, by following the view link, that'll take you to the view that you've chosen. This is where I want to go back to what I talked about in the settings page. Remember, we changed this to skinned. This means that now any one of these links is going to take us to the skinned view. So clicking 1-bedroom condo, now we're on the skinned view for the condo. And same with St. Lucia. And you'll get the map added to each one. How are we doing, Dan? We're going too fast, too slow?
Perfect.
Okay. Do you have any questions so far that you can imagine a new user maybe having?
How to put video in, how to put photos in, how to have the contact info, the lead generation.
Sure.
I'm sure you're going that direction.
We will go that way. We're not going to be able to get through all of it, so I'm trying to just kind of hit the high spots, and then we can come back with another potential episode for some of that. Okay, so let's recap though. Inside WordPress, we have just one page, the gallery page. and we have now 3 models. And on that page, we put the WordPress the WP3D shortcode. I want to just touch on that so that in case somebody's confused about what, I want to touch a little bit more on shortcodes. So I've gone to our documentation now, and the default shortcode, you could have just entered WP3D models with no attributes. That's, again, sorry, go back to this page. Okay, so we could have made it look just like this. That sets all the default values for our WP3D attributes. We elected to say we want the map equals true, and we want to add filtering. We're about to get to that. So for reference, you can come back here and learn more about each of the shortcode attributes. Additionally, if you go back to the documentation, each one of the attributes has a specific page written to it, written about it. So you can learn more exactly about the map attribute, what its choices are.
Yeah. Ross, let me add here, because I know this is the point where somebody might go, oh my gosh, this is so difficult. I've been using WP3D models for, I want to say, for almost 3 years now. A lot of the things that Ross is doing right now is one time. You got to set it up one time, and that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Once you get behind that one-time setup, there is not any of this gobbledygook of whatever that line of code is.
That's right. Yeah, thanks. That's right. This is a one-time deal. It just helps us set up how we want our gallery page to be presented. But it's important because one of the, I think, lesser used features of WP3D is building more and more pages that you can filter on certain types of models. And that really helps your SEO if you can say, here are all of my vacation rental scans. Here are all of my one-bedroom condo scans. And you're generating not only the content for each one of those models, but you're getting new content for pages specific to that kind of model. So let's talk about that. It's probably a decent segue, because one of the really big features, one of the first features of WP3D was the ability to take your body of work and start to organize it. So we're going to pause on talking about shortcode and attributes and the gobbledygook, as you put it, and we're going to go back to, let's go back to this one-bedroom condo. So over here on the right, model types. You can put, well, let's talk about them both, model types and model clients. They're referenced here on the side of WP3D. They're also referenced here over on the left underneath the models menu. You can put whatever you want here. So this is a one-bedroom condo. Let's just say this is a model type of, it's a condo, or condos. And it's also, let's call it residential. Okay, and then we're going to update that. Let's go to the other models. This is, since we've added them, now we don't have to keep adding. We can say, well, this one's residential, but it's also a, what might we say? Single family home. Again, pick whatever however you want to organize your models, you're in charge. And then let's go to the other one. This is, I guess technically it's residential, but let's just say it's a vacation rental. Okay, so we've categorized to some degree each one of the 3 models that's been entered. Now I'm back here. I'm going to refresh this page. And here are those choices. And now I can see everything that's a condo, just that one. Everything that's residential, remember we marked 2. And single family home, there's just the 1. Vacation rental, just the 1. So this piece right here, this filtering piece, is there because we put filter equals true. Again, like you said, this is more code than maybe people would want as far as attributes and referring back to documentation. But it's a one-time deal, and once you learn what we talked about, this is really powerful. So it's worth investing a little bit of time into how that goes together. And we feel like our documentation does a pretty good job of walking you through it. We'll be adding on to that as well. So, I mean, arguably, you've got a site you could almost start to use now, right? I mean, if you put your brand name up here and you got your logo in, and this up here, I should make sure this is clear. This is coming from the WordPress theme we chose, that OnePress theme. This is not coming from WP3D. So this piece here and even this lighter gray piece, the styling of that, including this footer and this, these are coming from the WordPress theme OnePress. I like to make sure that's clear because once in a while we get a little support saying, hey, I really like what's going on, but I need to change the color of the header on my site. And those sorts of things often are theme related and not our plugin related. But I understand the confusion that can be created when it's not immediately clear what is happening within the plugin and what's happening within WordPress. So we've made a pretty big circle. We've talked about model types, and we've talked about shortcodes. Let's go back to the settings so we can kind of pick up where we left off there. So the default view, we remember, is controlling where the view link goes on our list pages, on our gallery page. We haven't added a photo gallery here. I don't know if we'll get to that today, but there's two gallery types. Instead of having to choose between each one every time you add a model or every time you add a photo gallery to a model, you can select which one you want to be the default. Desktop columns, tablet columns, phone columns. We allow some customization here so that on a desktop, we're seeing it in 3 columns. And then as this, I'll just shrink this up. As this gets to a tablet size, it becomes 2 columns. And then on a phone, 1 column. So you can see how that moves around responsively. This setting lets you control that. You can make a few adjustments to how it might work better with your particular theme. We do offer the option of hiding the powered by WP3D text. So at the bottom here, we have a really light powered by WP3D. You can get rid of that if you like. The disable schema. We don't talk about this too much, and it's actually a really cool feature. So in the back, in the code, so we have a Southern California luxury homepage here. This is the skin view. The source code for this, so don't be scared by the gobbledygook. Hidden in the source code, we've added some schema data, and this tells search engines what this page is about, and it gives a little more information as well as a backlink to it, including this meta information, embed URL, thumbnail URL, and I think that's it for the default schema data. We're proud of that. It really makes the pages a lot more search engine friendly. That makes them a lot more digestible from a micro data aspect. But this is a little bit nerdy in the sense that most people don't even really know it's happening. We think it's cool. But if you do know what's going on and you're actually trying to modify that maybe with another WordPress plugin, or you want to really supplement it with more data, you're probably going to want to consider disabling what we've done if you're that person.
Well, let's save that for an advanced program.
Absolutely, yeah. But that's what that does. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to do some advanced schema markup, you wouldn't want duplicate schema data. You would check this box to remove that. So far, I have yet to have anyone ask me any more about this, but I'd like to think that it's working behind the scenes for everybody. Okay, reCAPTCHA. So this might require a little bit of a detour as well, so that we can show when this would play a role. Let's go back to editing this particular model. We're at the St. Lucia. I think I'm saying that right. Let's go ahead and go to the form. So on the skinned view, and let's get the skinned view up for this one. So on this view, we've got our map, and then it ends right below the map. Let's say you want to add a lead generation form to that view. There's a few different choices. You can send to the contact email, which may have been retrieved from Matterport. If there was nothing retrieved from Matterport, then this will still be blank, even if you choose this. You can also send to all attached agents. We haven't talked about agents yet, and that may be something we want to do shortly after this. Or you can send to a custom email address or using a third-party plugin form. Let's choose send to a custom email address. And let's see, actually, you know what? I think it might be better if we do go and talk about agents. Sorry. So let's talk about this first. So we're going to add this new agent. We need to find a photo of somebody. Give me just a second online to find a bio photo of a test person.
So while Ross is looking, what I should describe is WP3D Models WordPress plugin is an essential tool for every Matterport service provider. And in other sessions, you'll find out why it's now becoming the essential tool, not just for Matterport, but for any videographer, photographer, 3D modeler, 360 photography. Russ will talk about that in future episodes that we of WGAN-TV Live at 5. Some of this, and Russ, you just tell me when you're ready to take controls.
Sure. Again. So yeah, I can
you're
keep
ready.
going here. All right. So I don't know. I Googled bio photo, and this is one of the first ones that came up. So we'll just go with it. Steve Jobs. Now I've got a photo of Mr. Jobs, and we're going to select it. So all I've done, I've gone over here to models, agents, and I've added a new agent. I'm just uploaded Steve's photo here, and amazing human, let's call that agent info. So let's put at mac.com. Let's see, probably had a 415 area code, I bet. Okay, so I've quickly raced through this, but again, it's title, it's photo, it's subheading, and then you add an agent's email and their phone number. We're going to go ahead and publish that. That's all that is absolutely required. Now, let's go back and edit. Let's go back and edit this particular model. I lost it here. Okay. So again, we're on form. We're going to add the lead generation. We're going to add all attached agents. Oh, you know what? We've got a little challenge here because I don't think I added the, we're going to have to update this. Okay. Interesting. I think I don't have the particular plugin installed for this. Well, a little bit of a snag there while we're doing this piece. We're probably going to need to move past that, and then I'll come back to it maybe, and we'll wrap that up
Okay, just to put a bow in agents, since you typically are doing an agent property over and over and over again, or hopefully you are, once you set up the agent one time, then you can just easily and quickly and seamlessly select the agent for the particular 3D tour that you're working on. So
That's right.
it's so there is some setup initially that to kind of get you up to speed, but it is a fire hose. It's not a garden hose, and a fire hose is very powerful, and so it does take some setup to set up agents or some of the other things that Ross is doing today. But once you have it set up once, it's just you fly through setting up single property websites.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly, that's exactly right. I guess good stuff, usually takes a little bit of a setup, and this is this is exactly what happens with WP3D. You've got to put a little time in and get it going, and then I think new models typically, I don't know, what would you say, Dan? How long would it take for you to add a new property? I guess it depends on how much information you're going to be adding. If you're going to add a lot of a whole if you're going to add photo galleries, and if you're going to put in floor plans or whatever. But how long would you say it takes you to add one?
I'm probably not a great person to ask the question, because I do take a lot of time, because I'm looking for just making sure that the line spacing's right, the character's right. Do I like the way it's displayed? So I do toggle back and forth. But I think the point is for the majority of those that are using WP3D models, it's a relatively easy workflow of how you bring in a Matterport space, how you add it to a map, how you add an agent, how you add a lead generation form. If you have additional media, how you add a photo, how you swap out the hero image, and how you bring in video. So
Right.
It's a relatively easy process. And I think the magic of what you've done, Ross, in creating this database is once the information is inside of WP3D models, then it's super easy to export it as a single property website branded, single property website unbranded, full screen, yada, yada.
Yeah. So let's go back to how we add that agent. And the step here is that you need to go to branding first. So we decided to put it here, attaching agents in this place, because we wanted the ability to add an agent, but maybe not add the contact form if you wanted. So under branding, you'd say contact agent information, and you'd say add associated agents. So we're going to choose that, and then we're gonna pick Steve. So everything, again, any one that you've added to the agents, so we've got just one, you can choose, and then that assigns Steve to this particular model. Now, one thing to note, you can add up to 3 agents here, because lots of larger properties we were finding had multiple agents or teams. So it's a nice way to put multiple people associated with just one property. So we've gone ahead and assigned Steve here. Let's go ahead and update that. Now, back here on the skinned view, I'm going to refresh it. And here he is, down here at the bottom. Now, there's no form to reach out to Steve. So let's go do that. Okay. And
I thought I saw it fly by. Can you just double check if you scroll down?
Oh, yeah. You know what? You're right, because we saved it. You're right. Sorry. So the reason that that's there is we did previously, I guess I had already checked that in that box. So I'm going to uncheck it so you can see. If I didn't want the lead generation form, it ends at Steve. And if I do, there's the form. So this is going to send to this email address what you've entered into the agent, into their email address. Now, sometimes it's nice to have a little extra protection on this form for spam email protection. This is why we went through all of this just now, so I can circle back and we can look at that settings. piece. This is the reCAPTCHA site key. So it allows you to, you have to go and register. It's free. We have documentation right here. And just going to look at it briefly. We walk you through exactly what you need to do to get your keys for reCAPTCHA. It's really easy. But then you're going to want to come back once you have those keys entered. Oops, and paste them in here. And when you do that, then you'll get the little thing we've all seen before, the reCAPTCHA element that will appear just above the send message that proves that you're a human.
And I highly recommend that you do it, because if you don't, the first time that your client calls you and says, I'm getting hundreds of emails, what's going on? That's not the call you want to get. So it's just do the reCAPTCHA thing once, fill it in, and you're done forever.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that, Dan. Yeah, a lot of these things are, you know, they're, again, back to the setup piece. You can, you know, a lot of this isn't critical, but there's a lot we've built in so that it solves problems that have popped up over the years.
Ross, I know we have just about 10 minutes. Do you want to move on to photos or videos, or you got time to do them both?
I don't really want to get into those today because I don't have anything prepared to go through, and it's kind of a rabbit hole of lots more things that we can talk about. So I'd like to leave that for a future one, and just kind of wrap up the first page of the settings with a disclaimer. Just this last one here, disclaimer text. This is often, this was requested by a number of real estate agents that needed a little way to say something at the bottom, like buyer to verify all data, etc. You can put a piece of text or a short paragraph of text across the bottom. So disclaimer text here. Note that if you're so inclined, we do allow for an image and or an anchor text here. So you can put a link, and this, don't be scared by the code. You don't have to do this, but you could do something like your website here, my website, and saving that setting. We'll put that text, that disclaimer at the bottom. Disclaimer text here and my website. So obviously very subtle, but that was by design. The focus of the skinned view, it's all about this property. It's all about trying to drive traffic to a lead to this agent, to whomever you've entered into that spot, and get people talking about this one property. So we didn't get into the branding piece. That would appear here. We have global settings for branding that can be overridden on a per model basis. Truthfully, I think we've kind of just scratched the surface, but in an hour, we have taken a bare bones WordPress installation. We've added WP3D, we've added 3 models, we've added an agent, and we've modified the settings so that every model going forward is ready to go and can be put in a matter of minutes, depending on how much data you want to enter about each one. So that's probably a pretty decent place to start to wrap it up.
Okay, let's take it off screen share if we could.
Sure.
I know you have a fan club that wants to see you. So if you just toggle on screen share, there we go. Good. So Ross, thank you for taking us through, let's call it WP3D models, WordPress plugin version 3.0 for newbies, class 1. And we hope you'll come back and actually add some more classes. I think what I would like to just add is that We Get Around Atlanta loves WP3D models. It's so essential to what we do. We love the fact that it creates a gallery on the fly, automatically, constantly updating our gallery as we're adding property. So essentially we're adding it once, but we get the benefit of it. It populates our gallery automatically. We did that subcategory, which you described. we then start generating our single property websites, branded, unbranded, if we have a request for a full screen version, if we need the embed code for some reason. So it's creating all these different iterations, and we love that.
And lots of that. Which, sorry to interrupt, but it's hard to cover too much in an hour, so we didn't get to talk about any of the other views that, like you say, are dynamically.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things, for example, that we didn't get to cover today is how to add a gallery of photos, how to add video, how to have a video play. When the video ends, have it lead into a WP3D model. So it's like having almost like having a GIF of the model could be playing, for example, and then go right into the model. In the last couple of minutes, is there anything else that you wanted to add in today's program?
Boy, I don't think so. Yeah, appreciate the opportunity. And
well, let's just talk a little bit about pricing, because there's two ways to get WP3D models. First way is,
you can buy it right off of WP3D. We've got the buy now button on the front, and it's $199 for a license, and that license works on a WordPress site like we talked about. It is with a license to WP3D, you can create unlimited single property pages. So every model that you enter is also a single property page, and there is effectively no limit to how many of it you can add.
Mm-hmm. So you can buy WP3D models, WordPress plugin version 3.0 by going to WP3Dmodels.com.
Yep. That's right.
And then the second way, we get around network standard and premium members get the free use of WP3D models. So as long as you're a standard member or premium member, go to your welcome on board letter. There's look for WP3D models. There's a form to fill out, and we'll automatically get you the WP3D model zip file and a license key, and you get to use WP3D models as long as you're a standard and premium member. So that's again, two ways to get it. We've covered a lot of ground today. Ross Peterson, founder, developer, WP3D models. Always good to have you on the program. Always good to see and visit with you. I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Thanks for joining us. You've been watching WGAN-TV live at 5. And hopefully we'll have Ross back to do class 2 for newbies. And just one last thought is we also, Ross has graciously agreed to come back and do a power user class demo and discuss that. If you've been using WP3D models for a long time and you'll love it, and you just wonder what are all the neat tips and tricks that Ross can share with you as a power user, we'll do a full episode on that. So thanks for watching, Ross. Good to see you, and I know you're getting ready to run. Why don't you can certainly sign off. I just want to chat a little bit more for others.
Thank you.
Okay, good to see you, Ross.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. So if you stay with me a moment, I'm going to go ahead and just show you, for the benefit of others, an example of a single property website. We won't put this as part of the program. In fact, let me do this. Just bear with me 1 second. If you bear with me 1 second, I want to get to something. Okay. Then I'm going to share my screen. And close this. Go back into share screen. Good. Okay. And I want to, sorry, I need to do one more thing. So, hey, if you're just tuning in, I'm Dan Smigrod. I'm the founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Tuesday, September 19th, 2017. We just finished visiting with WP3D Models WordPress plugin founder, developer Ross Peterson. I wanted to take you through just an example of one of the We Get Around network, We Get Around Atlanta models that's been created with WP3D models, just so you can get a little bit more. So you'll see when Ross comes back of how we did something. So you can see up here we have the logo for the client, the play button, the title. We've controlled exactly what that says. Down here we have, and this is all controllable. This is what we've chosen to do, is add a paragraph of text about this property. We typically take it from the single property website. So generally what happens is the client publishes the MLS listing, and we come back and actually add that paragraph, because generally they don't have it until about a second before they hit the publish to the MLS button. But you can see where we have a couple things we wanted to highlight in terms of bedrooms, bathrooms. This happens to be a rental for film and television industry, so there's not a lot of information that you might expect to put a price and some other highlights there. There's the map of where it's located. We could actually zoom in and find exactly where this property is in Atlanta if I keep doing that. Then we have our photo album, photo gallery here. Amazingly, these pictures are from the Matterport camera. We did happen to send these off to Photo Spark founder John Javier, and he added the blue skies and the puffy clouds to really make these images pop. So shout out to John. Now in this particular property, we wanted to add some 360 photos. So we used another platform here for hosting the 360s, and you'll see that we can actually see, there's our unit right there, 321 Peterson Way. We can either click on a thumbnail to go for a different view. So here it is, 321 Peterson Way, and you just separate and aside, you may say, well, Dan, why'd you shoot that with the pillar there? Well, it turns out there's a dumpster on the other side of the Atlanta Beltline there. So we were doing our best actually to show the property in the best possible light, and we blocked the dumpster in that particular view. So that was what was going on. Then down here you see, and let's see, so do I want to show you something else on these links? That's probably good, and that image is actually shareable. Down here, two-dimensional schematic floor plans. So if we come over here, let's pick one of them, go, okay, there's the third floor of the house. Here's the second floor of the house. You can see it's an open floor plan, the kitchen. We happen to use blue-sketch.com to create our floor plans, because we like to put our logo on the floor plans, not Matterport. We have our disclaimer line that we want on them. We have a certain style of how we want to have the descriptive text, and then and we get our properties labeled this way. So when we import them into WP3D models, it automatically adds that text to the floor plan. Down here we have the agent for this property. You'll see that we have her email address, mobile, direct office, and then these are actually her links. If we clicked on it, we would go to her LinkedIn profile, her Facebook page, her website. Here's the info box to fill out. We were talking, Ross was demonstrating a little bit about the reCAPTCHA. Absolutely essential to do this. It does take a little bit one time to add a CAPTCHA to the page, but this really is golden, because if you don't do this, there's going to be at some point, if you don't do this, that one of your clients is going to call you and say, I'm getting spam at the rate of one email a minute or something. I've had 100 emails. What's going on? And I promise you don't want to get that call. So install the reCAPTCHA from Google, and these are you can share these pages in social media. We've left in the powered by WP3D models, but you can take that out if you want. Just to see if I go back to these pictures for a second. Was there something else I wanted to show you here? These are the original size of the images right from Matterport. So we use the Zip It tool from WP3D Models to download all these images. We again sent them off to PhotoSpark to retouch them. Up here, now this happens to be, let's go just take a quick look at this video here. These videos are from a member of the forum, so you can either put your video, you can outsource it to a third party, you can use the Matterport videos to pop in here. I guess what I'm trying to show you is there's a lot of visual media that we can include. I didn't on this one, we didn't put any tabs, but if we wanted to have tabs like for schools, for property taxes, etc., we could add tags. That's very nice. And what else can I tell you about on this property? On a different example, we had a client that actually had a house and had a barn / apartment also on the property, and so we actually used iframe embed code in this section to, I think, add that model in a second place. And then they had aerial photography, so we had both the video that I'm trying to show you over here, and then we wanted to put a second video, and so we used embed code to actually add that. But generally, when we put this together using WP3D Models WordPress plugin, it is easy, fast, simple, powerful. It's kind of a Swiss Army knife. We could probably talk all day about why someone would want to use WP3D Models, but for us, it's like picking up a fire hose. It's very powerful. If we actually have a conversation with Ross on this topic, we just keep spitting out, oh, well, here's another feature, here's another feature, here's another feature, and it's just super exciting because it's like a Swiss Army knife for single property websites. Enables you to do just about any and everything that you could possibly think or want, and that's why we consider it an essential tool for any Matterport service provider. And as we have Ross back on the program, we'll learn why it's actually going to become an essential tool for any 3D tour photographer, videographer, still photographer, and any and all digital media can actually be swapped out where we've presently inserted the Matterport space. Incidentally, let me go ahead and play and just give you a quick thing that we automatically force instructions on all our models. And what I wanted to do here was just take you in. Of course, I have all white walls. I probably should have used a different logo here, but you can see that we've inserted the Atlanta Fine Home Sotheby's logo. So as we look at this property, it's always showing up, and we've chosen to put their logo in two places. As a photographer, you might have struck a deal to have your logo in one place or the other, or presented by, or whatever. That's certainly doable. But I wanted to show you that this bar up at the top, all of this is controllable from WP3D Models, and over here is also controlled with WP3D Models. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that quick additional look-see at WP3D Models WordPress plugin. I think if you're a newbie and you were just watching Ross take you through the initial setup, I can imagine you have a little bit of concern. You go, oh, because there is a little bit of a mountain to climb initially setting it up, but once it is set up, then it's smooth sailing from there. So if you had any angst about, oh my gosh, that looks a little bit gobbledygook, or what was that, or code equals something, I frankly have the same reaction. So I just want to kind of ease you into knowing that if you start out with WP3D models, there is a little bit of a learning curve. We're going to create a number of videos with Ross to help you get through that learning curve. But once you set up, how your map looks, how your single property website look, you have your own style, then your workflow becomes super easy, super fast to simply create the content, what would I call a solution, rather than just delivering a Matterport space, is now to be able to deliver your Matterport space with photos, video, the text description, the agent's contact info, the lead generation box, and I'm probably leaving out 10 other things. Deliver it branded, unbranded, deliver it as a full page only. So many different things that you can do. So just wanted to give you that quick overview. So let me take it off sharing. So I thank you for this little extra content that I wanted to share with you following our program WGAN-TV Live at 5 with WP3D Models WordPress plugin developer founder Ross Peterson. So you've been watching WGAN-TV Live at 5. I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network and your host. And thanks for tuning in. You all have a nice evening, and our next program will live at 5 will be Friday of this week. It's just kind of a happy hour on Friday, live at 5, and I hope you tune in then. Thanks so much. Good night.